Hello there, everybody. Part two. Have you ever been on a rock concert? Well, we covered in the first video about the Herodian stones. Showed you one from Israel, from Jerusalem. An oil lamp from the time of King David, not a replica, an actual oil lamp. And we looked at pottery from the Second Temple era, the time of Jesus. And we discussed the outright denial of a vast amount of this planet in the Islamic realm, an outright denial of any of these historical facts. So that's what you're dealing with there, as far as they don't care. And the rest of the world, they don't care either, as far as, gee, it's true, it's not true. Most of Christianity is ignorant to the fact. They will not accept the nation of Israel, reborn in 48, the undivided city of Jerusalem, 1967, all that, all these things. They say it's entirely coincidental. There's no biblical warrant to point to Israel. They won't even call it Israel now. They'll keep calling it Palestine. Uh, the Reformed movement, forget them. I mean, they're gone. I mean, with this whole preterist garbage. So um, it's only those who believe in the scriptures, literally. And even the opponents of these views say, well, sure, if the way you're reading it literally, if it would happen, then sure. It's happening. Well, no, you don't understand. Oh, pray, enlighten me. No, you don't understand, my friend. Um, had the Jews believed in Jesus, then these promises from the Old Testament would have been theirs. Okay, wow. Now, uh, yes, young man, yes, you there with your weird little friend Scully. If that's true, how come it says in Ezekiel 37, a couple of verses, around 23 on, that God says, it's not for you. It's not because of you, Israel. You should be ashamed of your conduct. But it's because of my promises to Abraham and the covenant with David that I am restoring you. And it's only a remnant to be restored from Israel. Wow. So, well, young man, I'm sorry, young man, you take your friend Scully and you leave. You're just a troublemaker, and you're just an idiot. You're a hyperliteral Bible man. I'm sorry. I take it easy, Prof. See you later, alligator. So that's what you get today. In some schools, other schools, I mean, it's like, uh, I don't know. It's as if an elf or a fairy appeared, and said, "Hello, church. Everything's spiritual now. Everything's an allegory." And so the plain, literal declarations of Scripture and prophecies are now left to the whim of the allegorist. Extreme case, Harold Camping. I mean, it's almost insulting to put him on the level of even these other people. But uh, I mean, that's just crazy stuff. But in a more sophisticated way, it's just as crazy to deny these prophecies. And they all say the same things. They all pick on date setters and Hal Lindsey and this one and that one. Just stick to what it says, what the good book says. And if these things are happening in front of our eyes, wow. Well, we're not going to go to the written record too much. Now, I gave you Psalm 102 during part one. Talk about that the stones are dear to your servants. And it's not that there's a place we need to go to. Even today, Jerusalem, all of the Holy Land, and any kind of Holy Land tour, if God gives you the ability to do it, go. I mean, you're only going to enrich your appreciation of the Bible and all the rest of it. I've been there many times, about 29 times. When I read in my Bible about Chorazin, one of the three cities that were castigated by Jesus because of the miracles done there. Bethsaida, Capernaum, Capernaum, the village of Nahum, and Chorazin. And so we have visited those three cities many, many times. This here is a little thing I just found. It's ancient stuff from Chorazin. And you go to Chorazin, now it's ruins. It's a site you can go to, but there's nothing there except ruins. Same thing with Capernaum and Bethsaida. There's nothing there. They're ruins except for a rebuilt synagogue over or on the foundation of the one that Jesus spoke in John chapter 6. Certainly that's there. And then, I don't know, the Roman Catholic Church put up this like UFO kind of St. Peter's Church because they say it was his house. I mean, it's very garish. And anyway, to each his own. It's not my property, so it's not my big deal. And I don't need that either. But so that's what's there, just like Jesus said. So when we go to these places, and that's why I like to collect these rocks, because it reminds me of stuff. Judean wilderness. When we say wilderness, you don't know wilderness till you've been there. And I mean miles and miles and miles of sheer wilderness. And to think Jesus, for 40 days, trekked that whole thing, fasting. And it says he was with the wild beasts. I guess they knew who he was. A wild beast, man. My backyard, just 2 mornings ago. I'm reading my Bible. It's the morning and stuff. And I was up a lot earlier than I usually get up for some reason. And so I'm out there. And there's a coyote just walked right across my backyard. And I went, what was that? It was a coyote. Came back again. And they've been seen in our area anyway. You got to be careful with your pests and stuff. And that gave me enough. I go, wow. Can you imagine the wild animals out there? Now, we went through the Negev desert a couple of times. And, during Solomon's time, the whole temple thing for Solomon, you can go out to the Negev, and you see this stuff here? This is the copper on I don't know if you can see the color of that. See that? This is all from the Negev desert and where they schmelted, if you say that's the right way you say it. That you can see it all melted there. So you go out there and you see all this stuff there, and they let you take it home, thank God. They better catch you on soon because you don't have to buy these stupid souvenirs. I mean, this is good stuff. Rocks are for free, right? So you go there and I bring this stuff home because it's just interesting and it's historical and wow, and there it is. Beersheba, I think I showed you this, but I'm not sure, but from the ancient city of Beersheba. And this thing is the mud packing on this thing, it's amazing. And you go to a site, they have it dug different years. You have to go down to go back in time. And you can grab some of these things. And it really is a cool eye-opener. Then you go to the Dead Sea. Wow, the Dead Sea is dead. Microscopic life, but that's about it. Tons of stuff from the Dead Sea. I got some, where is it? Right here. Got some of this, see here? This is from the salt in the Dead Sea. You can rip yourself apart in there. You got to be careful, but they have sections that you go to. All right, well, anyway, I got tons of other good stuff here, but I want to go now. Let's leave Israel proper and go to Greece. A couple of times we went to Greece and got to a place called, let's all say it, Corinth. And actually stood and looked down the foundations where it was the Bema seat, the judgment seat, where Paul used that as an example of when the resurrection takes place, when the Lord returns and resurrects his children. There we are. We have to stand before him and give an account. Anyway, brought that home from Corinth. One rock, I don't know, I should have been on my toes, but it was in the early years. Okay, next one was Mars Hill. Took this right out of a chunk. I tried to close my eyes and imagine the Apostle Paul standing and preaching about the resurrection of Jesus. It's a prime spot now. Walter Martin was there, and it just turned him on, thinking he's there at Mars Hill, and he's preaching the resurrection. Those guys are long dead and laughed Paul off the place, except for a few guys. And yet here we are still talking about the risen Jesus. So the stones are good because they back the history of it. Now, as I said in the first series, the Book of Mormon. Mormons are nice people. God bless Donnie and Marie. But it's not a Christian group. It's a cult. I don't want this to influence your voting or anything. I wouldn't vote for or against anybody on the basis of their religion. Unless, I'll get into that part. Anyway, there's not a scintilla. I mean, not a rock, not any pottery, writings that support any assertion in the Book of Mormon. Mormon historians today are now saying, look, they have a point out there. We believe it. We believe Palmyra and all that stuff, but we certainly don't have the evidence, so we must accept it by faith. Now, if you're ever witnessing to a Mormon and they look in the face and say, look, the Bible and the Book of Mormon go like this, they'll take you to Ezekiel 37, and you got the stick of Joseph with Ephraim. See, that's Joseph Smith. Okay, no, it's not. Get back. It's not. But they believe it, and they'll say there are no contradictions between the Bible and the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon says Jesus was born in Jerusalem. Okay, I mean, a little slip up there. And of course, we know Jesus was born in Bethlehem. I've heard from Mormon apologists that there are two Jerusalems, two Bethlehems. Now, that's true. There is a Bethlehem up by in Galilee, but that doesn't mean anything. It just means house of bread. The tribal area, Judah, was Benjamin. Judah was the tribe of Jesus. Benjamin is Jerusalem's tribal designation. It's not Jesus, Judah. It's two different things, two tribal distinctions. The best you'll get out of a Mormon who at least has faced this is, well, we don't know why the Eternal did that. I can tell you why, because the Eternal didn't do it. Satan did it, and it's a big con. Look, I'm sorry. I mean, love you and all, but find the real Jesus, you'll be okay. Guys, this is a time was very difficult for this generation of believers. I'm at the end of the parade. I mean, I'm not about to buy the farm yet, but you know, you'll be 62 in 2 months. I don't know. My dad made it to around 78, and he was in great shape. Maybe, I don't know. But with what I see coming into the church on the homosexual issue, the absolute in-your-face accept homosexuality, Christians, and we want to bring it in the church. Not on my watch. Sorry, guys. Well, you're just a hater. Nah, I don't hate you. You're just lost. You can be heterosexual and you're lost. So please, give me a break with all that stuff. But now they want to make everything acceptable. The Bible, it has to be understood in its history and its culture. And they'll go on and on with stuff. Guys, it's a dangerous time. You need to be in the Word of God. You need to be in a good fellowship, a strong church, a body of believers. It's getting harder and harder to find it. May God help you find it. Now, we're here to help you grow in the Lord. Got no axe to grind. We'll give you our best shot at what we believe the Scriptures teach. All right, gang, that's about it. Part 2. The Rock Tour is over. Chasbro 777, that's all the address you need. Next Bible study, maybe we'll look at my big, fat Greek New Testament. Night all.